Hey everyone, decided to do a quick live. I'm already burned out for the week. Let's see. How's everyone doing? I'm also excited because I got my year-end commission paycheck finally, and about to buy some real estate, so I'm gonna use that for a down payment. Trying to figure out where I want to buy. There's actually a property that popped up in my where I have a couple places in Austin, Texas, in that same neighborhood. So trying to decide that or something in Chicago because I'm just renting here in Chicago. Best software company to work for, I would say the big tech companies for sure. Google, Amazon, Microsoft. You can do well at startups, but those will consistently pay you a lot of money and give you a good work-life balance. Hey Robin, hey Fernando. How much was it? It was, I just posted a video on it. It was, the gross amount on the paycheck was 224K, and the take home was 137. So I paid I was just looking at it, 66K in taxes. So that's why I do like side hustles, side businesses, because that way when you're in like the higher tax brackets, it's important to start doing something on the side so that way you can like offset your tax liability. So those business expenses and investments will save you a lot of money on taxes. Every dollar you spend investing into a business, you basically get 40% back if you're at the 40% tax bracket, or 39%. Thinking about leaving finance for tech sales. Any thoughts? Yeah, great work-life balance in tech sales. So you can still make a lot in finance, especially if you're in IB, but you're trading off your time for that. Would you say have a good work-life balance? Yeah, I do about 40 hours a week. Thoughts on CrowdStrike? You're working through an SE interview. It seems promising. Yeah, CrowdStrike's solid. One of the sales directors that I worked with at the cybersecurity startup that I used to be at, she's at CrowdStrike right now, and she's had a great experience, and the timing is good too. Their stock's down quite a bit, so if you can get your stock price for your grant set right now, I think it'll be you'll have a lot of upside. How do you deal with rejections and mean executives? It's kind of like sales is all a numbers game. So rejection is going to happen quite a bit in sales. So you just have to keep your head up high. Focus on like volume, especially if you're an SDR. And so that way, if you get like a bad call, just brush it off and move on to the next one. Average hours for an SDR, more than 40 hours? No, it's typically around 40 hours, mainly because your hours are pretty much limited to a customer's hours, and most customers, they're only available from like 9 to 5. Your year-end net paycheck is what people most make in a year on the high end. Yeah, crazy. And then, so definitely very blessed, So that was basically my Q4 commission check. That was just Q4. And I also had like Q1, Q2, Q3. But in cloud, basically, you don't get accelerators until you hit your year-end quota. So that's why my year 4 commission check was the biggest. Can you transition from tech sales to venture capital? You can. I might go into that route myself. I'm particularly interested. I'm either want to start my own startup or look at getting into VC and then being more of an advisor. Best remote side hustle you can do to offset spending money. Honestly, I think TikTok, being a content creator, is probably one of the best remote side hustles that you can do, mainly because there's a lot of things you can categorize as a business expense. Like if you go travel and you record content somewhere, like you go to Florida, go to LA or whatever, you can write that off as a business expense. So I think it's a good one. And then, obviously it can turn into like a pretty good money stream as well if you can build a following, provide value back. What kind of tax refund do you expect? Probably, I'm hoping for like a 6-figure tax refund. So like last year, I added up all my income. It was like 750K, but I invested quite a bit into business and then doing like real estate depreciations. So hopefully a good sized tax refund. Thoughts on contract jobs? You're contracted at GitHub. It feels like you're waiting forever for full time. Yeah, contract can be rough. When I was at Google, the SDRs were all contract positions, and they only converted like I think it was less than 10% of contract positions to full-time. So it can be a bit of a grind. So hopefully you get a full-time. Do I do account-based marketing? Yeah, I only have 2 accounts right now, so it's pretty much all account-based marketing. Do I still prospect and cold call? Not too much. Again, because I only have 2 accounts and I have relationships at them. What is a software sales enterprise rep hours? Typically they're available from 9 to 5, and rarely are they going to be working more than 40 hours. You're studying medicine right now. You want to start a business on the side. Any suggestions? Suggestion would be if you're going to start a business, have it be something that you're interested in. If you're starting a business, it's going to require a lot of, the biggest investment is going to be your time for sure. So make sure it's a topic that you're interested in. And the sky's the limit. There's a ton of different options there. AWS called me a ton of money recently. Oh, called and offered. Yeah, AWS is doing a ton of hiring. They've been growing like crazy, even at the scale that they're at. And in order to maintain that growth, they need to keep up hiring. So not too surprising. They've been offering pretty good pay packages. Thanks for the referral. Now just waiting for them. Yeah, more than happy to provide that referral for you. At what age did I start? Oh, good questions here. Let me see. It's refreshing. You work at Zoom, made a shit ton of money these last 4 years. Yeah, Zoom did crazy. I'm sure you made a ton of money off the stock and options too. Have you read any van books or any books for SaaS sales? The ones that I've read were through some of the sales training. So like Challenger Sale and Spin Selling. Those are 2 that I specifically remember. I'm not a big fan of books for the most part. In my experience, a lot of the business books, they have a lot of fluff in order just to get to the 100-page mark or 150-page mark. I do like audiobook summaries. So I think I gotta remember what the name of the app was. I think it's Goodreads or something. But they'll summarize all these business books into a 10-minute summary, kind of like Spark Notes for fiction books and stuff like that. Where my investment property is located, long or short-term rentals, they're all in Austin, Texas, and I do 30-day fully furnished rentals, mostly because I don't want to deal with short-term rental, taxes and licensing. If you do 30-day minimums, then you don't have to worry about any of those restrictions. And then also there's less turnover with tenants. So most of the people that go to my properties, they're staying for 1 to 3 months. Either they're relocating and they need somewhere to stay, or they're on a short-term work assignment. What age did I start? I started at 24, I guess. So I started, right when I graduated, basically. I started or moved down to Austin in 2014, so I was 23. I worked on tech support. I did that for about a year and a half before I moved into an SDR role, and then I went down the career path. So I guess, I was 24 when I first started software sales. What type of software do I sell? Right now I sell cloud, Amazon Web Services. Account executive versus account manager. 2 very different roles, but similar. One's selling into new accounts. The other one is managing existing accounts. So more like pre-sales versus post-sales. Both have their pros and cons. Typically you'll make more money on the account executive side. What do you think is a respectable income for a 21-year-old if they're self-employed? Really depends on where you're living. If you're in the US, I would say respectable income for a 21-year-old if you're self-employed would be 50K or something if you're living in a bigger city and have roommates and so on. Best outbound prospecting techniques. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn prospecting. So, but check out Mailshake. Mailshake has a great cold email masterclass. They've got some great tips and techniques and templates that you can use to craft cold emails and cold LinkedIn messages. How many hours am I working every day? Usually I start my actual work day at 8 or 9 a.m., kind of depending on when my meetings are. And then earlier on in the morning when I wake up, I'll wake up 7. So then I'll work out, catch up on personal emails, catch up on TikTok emails and messages. And I'll usually work till 5 or make myself available till 5. and then take time off, and I'll spend like an hour or two on TikTok stuff after that. Have I made enough to retire? Yeah, I mean, I could retire enough right now if I wanted to. It kind of depends on what you mean by retire. So like I have enough like passive income at this point where it could cover all my like living expenses, but I like fancy stuff. I like traveling. I like fast cars and that type of stuff. So I probably won't be retiring fully anytime soon. One of my like big accomplishments is I want to get to $100 million net worth. I'm very far away from that, but I'm confident that if I launch a startup and scale it and grow it, I can probably get to that point. How often do you meet? Oh, good questions here. Interviewing for Amazon seller partner services for AE role. Any thoughts on non-AWS? I don't have too much experience there, honestly, to that part of the business. It is a totally different sales organization. How often do I meet my OTE? Pretty often. I think compared like over like the past 7 years, I've met my OTE in every year except 2. So pretty consistent. Are there any AWS sales positions for entry level? Most of them require 5 years of experience. Yeah, there's associate account executive. There's also, I think, lead gen or demand generation, they'll call those. You don't have a degree and you want to learn how to get started in tech sales. How should you go about this? Look at my playlist on my profile, Get Into Tech Sales. I've got a ton of like free videos on there, resources. Check out the Discord community that I have. That's free. I've got stuff posted on there. And then if all else fails, after like, let's say 4 weeks of applying for jobs on LinkedIn, if you don't get any luck, any traction, then you can look at a program like Pre-Hire, Pre-Sales Academy, or Elevate. Those are 3 sales boot camps. They're listed in my bio. Check them out. See which one vibes with you the most. They do like free interviews, informational sessions, and they all don't charge anything until you land a job in tech sales, making at least like $60K. So pretty good options. They remove the risk on your end. They're usually like 8 to 12 weeks that they take from start to finish. And at the end of those 8 to 12 weeks, you'll be in one of these high-paying tech sales roles. Oh, good questions. What are my current side hustles? Yeah, so the main one that I'm actually investing mostly in is TikTok. So doing marketing, brand partnerships, sponsorships on TikTok. I want to build out like a recruiting firm. So I'm building out a business plan for that. So I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff related to social media and tying in, this account and this social media presence. I think it's a great like marketing channel that could be used to fuel a lot of different business ideas. Another side hustle, I guess you can call it, is, I do car flipping. So I'm a big car guy. I have like an eye for identifying rare and unique cars that are under market value. So I'll move pretty quickly on them, buy it, ride it for a few months, and then flip it. Like for example, that kit car that I bought, I did a couple videos on the 500 horsepower one. I bought it for only $23K. I literally bought it within an hour of the guy posting it for sale on a very niche car forum. Got it shipped from California, and I'm about to put it up for sale, and I should be able to sell it for like 70K or so. So that'll be like a pretty good flip. That's one example there. And then another side hustle, real estate. So I'm getting more and more into real estate. Have 3 properties right now, building. 2 of them are still being finished from construction, and then the one of the rental properties I'm adding onto it, building another rental unit on it too. So those are kind of like the main side hustles. What do I want to do with $100 million? So ideally what I want to do is, I would take that and then roll it into a venture capital firm, start my own VC. Tell us about the TRX that you're getting. Yeah, so I got it from, I forget what the name of the Granger Automotive. I saw they were on the forums. I saw the TRXs, they're all selling for like over 10 grand over MSRP, like everywhere across the country, and they're all sold out. Reached out to Granger. They're a pretty large dealership in Iowa, and they're actually selling them for 10 grand under invoice. If the only catch is you have to place an order and you have to get it built brand new from the factory. So I placed that order in November, and it's finally getting delivered in the next week or two. So I got it for 10 grand under invoice. My goal for that one is going to be to flip it for 5 to 10 grand over. So that'll be like, another like 15K flip. But I'm doing a car track day with like the kit car in Austin, Texas. So what I want to do is I want to basically use it for that road trip to trailer the track car down to Austin, do the track day on Circuit of the Americas, and then drive back, and then that's when I'll flip it. Looking fresh with the new hairstyle. I went the lazy way. I didn't feel like going to a barber, so I just did DIY. I've tried to cut my hair a few times. I won't do the top, but I've been progressively doing more on the sides. So it's still a little funny. But I'm trying to work my barber skills up, just because I don't mind paying to get my hair cut. I just hate the process of having to schedule a haircut, driving there or walking there. It's like cold in Chicago right now, so if I can like perfect it myself, I think it can go a long way. Thoughts on the real estate market right now? It's dicey. Real estate's dicey, so it's being propped up right now by high or low interest rates. The Fed yesterday indicated that they're not going to be raising interest rates right now, but they will in the near future. So it's going to be interesting. I think right now there is a lot of speculation. A lot of the real estate that's been bought up has been bought up by investors. So we're probably going to get to a point, if interest rates sharply rise, if they go up to like 6 or 7%, then we're going to see a pretty sharp correction in house prices, because what's going to happen is investors are not going to want to hold on to their houses for very long. Typically, they buy them and then they hold on to them for maybe like a year or two. They'll do some renovations, they'll rent it out, and then they'll sell it for their next property. And they're not going to want to be left holding the bag. So we'll see. This next year is going to be very interesting. Supply is still very short, so I think prices are still going to be going up, or they're going to stay flat. But we could see a big correction, but we'll see. No one really knows for sure. People were saying that there was going to be a ton of houses put on the market in January because people were waiting to put them up for sale during COVID and during the winter, and we haven't seen that. So it's anyone's guess at this point. What's the name of the summary app for books that you mentioned? Great question. So let me see. I think it was Goodreads? No, it was Blinkist. That's right, Blinkist. So they have like 5,000 books on there. They've got like mostly nonfiction books, so that's a good summary app. And they'll have like text summaries, and then also like audiobook summaries too. So that's a great way to kind of get through all those like top business books and self-help books without spending several hours actually reading it. You can get to the gist of of what those books are actually trying to say. Can you still get into tech sales with a comp sci degree? Yes, you can definitely get into tech sales with a comp sci degree. So there's a bunch of different roles that fall under tech sales. There's the more technical roles would be a sales engineer or a solutions architect. And that's where you see a lot of people with like computer science degrees. They go into that field mostly because they, depending on the company, the product can be very complex. There still might be some coding involved for proof of concepts and for demos. So that's where you'll see a lot of sales engineers or a lot of computer science background individuals or developers. They'll go into that role. So yeah, I would say computer science, like people ask me like what degree should they get? Computer science is definitely, I think, one of the best undergrad degrees to get if you still have the option of picking your degree, or you're thinking about going to college. Like for example, if you're in high school, I pretty much always recommend just do computer science. Even if you don't want to be a developer, it's going to open up so many doors in terms of, there's so many different roles in tech companies that don't involve coding, where that computer science degree would give you a ton of credibility. Am I going to put this on YouTube? Yeah, I'll put this one on YouTube. I'll get this one listed. I just downloaded the one from last night. I'm going to post that one on YouTube too. I also still need to go ahead and update my link tree to have the link directly for the TikTok Live playlist replays. Oh, sweet. I'm so happy you changed your major from biology. So many more options. Yeah, it's funny. One of my best friends, she studied biology. One of my best friends, she studied biology. She she was also going to go into med school, and then it was like her sophomore year or junior year. She decided that she wanted to switch into computer science. And it was a great decision for her. She got some like high paying internships. I think her summer internships paid her like 6 grand a month or something like that, which was crazy. And then she's currently at Facebook right now, making a ton of money too. So she was really happy that she made that move. You're in startup tech sales can be crazy. Is there a big difference in large companies like Google? There's it depends in terms of what kind of difference you're looking for. Some of the bigger differences would be the potential upside at startups is definitely higher. Like if you get in at a high growth startup and you get a ton of like stock options, for example, you can make, millions of dollars if you join the right startup at the right time. You're not going to get that type of upside at companies like Google, but at places like Google or Amazon, they will consistently pay you a lot of money. So, and over, it's like a fairly stable position too. So it kind of depends what you're looking for. The name of the cold email course, look at Mailshake Cold Email Masterclass. Take a search for that. Great questions, everyone. Actually, I'm getting pulled into a meeting right now. I might hop on live later today, but thanks for hopping on. I'm going to post this one on YouTube as well later today. If you have any other questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. And where can you find that Salesforce SDR class? It's listed on Coursera. If you just search Salesforce SDR certification, it should be like the first thing that pops up on Google.